Hello everybody, Eli Murdoch with you here, and we are continuing our series on the restoration of this beautiful cedar closet. And it was installed some time ago. I'm not exactly sure when this was put in. However, just based on the bolts here, you know, and everything, and the hardware used for them, it would have had to have been after the 50s or 60s, because the bolts and everything used are much newer and everything like that. They're much newer make, and this is a 1930s house, so I'm assuming that it was done maybe in the 60s or so. I'm not absolutely positive of that, but it was done. And what I'm not sure of also is, I mean, this used to be a coal storage room. So this is the coal chute that you see in front of me here. And the room was originally painted black, which, you know, it really makes sense. It's a coal room, and so it's a coal storage room. So you want to pretty much paint it black. There's no point in painting it a different color. It's just going to get dirty anyway. So it was painted black originally, and it looks like, you know, it was a pretty good job that was done. I'm sure the wall looked better than this when the cedar was installed. I certainly hope it did, because if you install something like cedar or anything else over a wall that is, you know, dilapidated and shot and also leaking, then you're just going to have mold problems. So obviously we did have mold problems, but that was from water coming in over a long period of time. So I'm not exactly sure, you know, what led to that. I'm sure that when everything was done originally, pretty much I would guess that the wall looked all like that. It was a nice, beautiful black, and it was ready to, you know, ready to be built onto. And that's the way you need it. Now, I am going to repair a few things, like you see that there. That wasn't done by, I didn't do that when I was removing anything. That was there already. So really, I mean, not that you can't build over that. And that's, if you install something like cedar, yeah, and you have like a professional carpenter come in and do it, they're not going to repair something like that unless you ask them to, because it's really not integral for the stability of the wall, the cedar wall, you know. However, I'm going to repair that so that it's at least a flat surface. It's not an indentation like that. I'm assuming that that might have been something else that was there in conjunction with the coal room here. So it might have been, you know, another alternate, I don't know, either a half chute, or I don't know about a chute, but something else was maybe positioned there for a while when the coal room was here, and it's gone now, obviously. So I don't know what caused that, but anyway, okay, so we got this here. I'm going to show you now. I'm restoring this. This is a restoration project. This isn't a tear down and start all over. We're not going to start everything all over. We are restoring what's here, and we want to make sure that we don't tear out good stuff while we're tearing off the things that are shot and old and, you know, beyond their age, you know, because this probably when it was put in. Now, see the paint on here? See the color of the paint? You can see it right here. Now, this was the paint used for pretty much the entire downstairs basement here. So it was all over, and the entire basement was this color. Now, it's an eggshell lead-based paint, an eggshell lead-based. So I need to remove it for a lot of reasons, because it's chipping, but also that it's old and it just, you know, it's lost its, I'm sure it looked great when it went on at first, and, you know, you cover up stuff and make it look a little bit more beautiful. But we're gonna like make this room shine, so it'll be a nice new white. We'll put the UGL Dry Lock Extreme Dry Lock on there, a white one, and then we'll that'll be the base coat, and then we'll put a couple coats of maybe a royal white semi-gloss paint, something. Anyway, I got them from Ace Hardware. You can go anywhere and get paint, but I just happened to go there because it's close. and I get good deals there. So on the paint. So here we go. So I'm just removing this very gently. You can see the debris coming from the back of it. Now there was more just a little bit ago because I stopped doing this to film a little bit, and I'm doing this with one hand again, so because I'm filming with the other, of course. Now there's so much debris behind here, and you can see that the wood is kind of falling apart very easily. I'm not putting a lot of pressure. I'm also doing my best not to kick up too much dust. Now usually when I'm doing this, I do have the vacuum on as well. I don't have it on for the sake of the video, so I'm only going to do a little bit of this to show you how to gently, and I'm sure you already kind of know, how to gently remove old wood or anything like that without kicking up a lot of dust. Now it's easier when I have two hands, and then also not damaging too much, because we don't know. I don't know what the condition is of whatever is behind there. We'll probably end up pulling it out, but I'm gonna err on the side of like being really, really cautious to start with, and not doing, because I might pull out something that I want to. And then of course we also have this is the electrical for the central air, so we have to be careful of that as well. So anyway, well, you get the idea. So that's the way to do, this is the way to gently remove old wood that needs to go. And I started a little bit from this side and gently pulled it off. There are just little nails that are holding it in place, and you can kind of see what's on the back too. Now the wood on the back, just from look at it, but there's other parts. Some of it looks good, the other looks not so good. It depends upon where you're at. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. I don't want to pull off something that could be good wood, but I think the bottom of it is pretty sharp. I just think that it's possible that it could be a nice piece of wood, and I don't necessarily just want to throw everything out. I don't. I want to maybe save some things for historical purposes too. This is a restoration project, and we want to preserve the history of this house. So there we go. There it popped off. You heard it. And there we go. So we're gently tugging it, getting a little press every time. We're not just pulling off and smashing it and doing all that. And we're also minimizing the amount of dust that gets kicked up, because I do have, big, I have a, curtain up covering the entrance so that we don't have that dust. But so there you go. So here you have it. We're pulling this off little bit by bit, getting it off there without, and then we want to, I don't want to like break too much of this. This is already broken, so this will come off. That right there, that'll have to come off. And that's a part of the cedar. That's unfortunate. That happens. But that was actually part of another piece, so that'll have to come off anyway. So here we go. Now you see how that's just falling apart. All right, and again, I'm doing this with one hand. So with two hands it would have been done already, but you get the idea. And it's hard to film and do the work at the same time, so I don't have the luxury of having somebody here with me. So I'm going to try to also pull that away so that it's not scraping that too much. I don't want it to scrape the cedar and wreck the cedar. So here we got it. Look what we got here. So yeah, this needed to go. You can see that there's a lot of mold on this side too. A lot of bad problems here. So we need to kind of get rid of this. Take this all out, but look at, you got another piece of wood which might be been part of this, right? You got this piece of wood which is on the back, and then you have another much thicker piece which still looks like it's in fairly good shape. Now it's not to say that I'm not going to remove it. And then also we have the outside, and we're in the middle of winter right now, so we have the outside to think about. I don't want to create a big gap and hole and then have it there for a long time and have it be losing air and having a So, because we want to keep air and preserve it as best as we can, but we do need to remove a lot of this because it's really in bad shape, you know. And it's wood. So the good thing about it is that it is going to break down. So what I'm doing is I'm letting you know this, is I'm putting a lot of the debris, and I'm going to cut it down too. Once I get my reciprocating saw, I'm going to cut it down, and then I'm putting it in pieces in a compostable bag such as this, and then I just enclose the bag and then place it in the trash. So I think that's a much more ecological and economical method. Now, I've said this before, but I know that other people use very large garbage bags, plastic ones, and that's okay. I understand that. It's much probably faster to do that because you don't load up the bag so quickly. And there are certain reasons why you use plastic, because it's much more able to contain, I guess. But if you close the bag up, and which I do, and tape it shut, really secure, it's a biodegradable bag. Paper is, and it's just going to break down anyways. The wood will break down, and even if it does have old mold on it, it's just going to break down in a dump anyway. So that's not going to be that big a deal. It'd be different if you were taking it somewhere and you're going to store it again, which you wouldn't want to do anyway. But so that really to me makes more sense. And then you got this here. I'm just going to gently pull this with my hand. You can see on the other side. Yeah, so the other side, that's pretty shot too. So, but this is all a process of discovery. It's all discovering what's going on and saying, it's just best to pretty much, in this case, start over with this or have everything new. Not always though, not with everything. And so with restoration, is a lot different than total renovation, when you typically tear everything out and tear down the whole house. That's different. This is restoration. It's a restoration process. Now this one is about the right size. I mean, they can place it in here. I probably need to break it down a little bit, but you can just see, I'm just going to put this in. I'm just going to break it in half. You just put it in the bag, right? There it is. And then I enclose the bag after I bring it outside. So, okay. Well, you get the idea, and you're understanding exactly what needs to be done now to kind of just restore versus entirely tear out this entire thing. Now, yes, I could have just done this a much more aggressively and got this all out in less time. I am doing this for the sake of the video, and I'm also doing it for the sake, again, as I told you, I don't want to kick up too much dust in there, because there is a lot of dust from just debris from the wood breaking down, and also the mold dust that's left over. We don't want to kick that up. After we're done cleaning it and everything like that, then we can kind of like be a little bit more, a little bit more better with like even being able to put it in or just working in here and working fast so that you can at least get stuff removed or installed or whatever. So this one's going to come off too. I'm going to take this one off, but that's it for this instruction on how to restore your cedar cabinet and how to remove pieces without tearing out too much at a time. Just bit by bit. You gotta do a little slower and more carefully. And then you see what we have here. This will be replaced too, so we'll probably end up doing the whole thing. But all right, well, take care of yourself. And again, Eli Murdoch with you. So all right, I'm going to show you there's the Tyvek, and you see the uniform that I got on. Oh, you know what? I usually already have it zipped up too, but that's all right. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Bye.